You need batteries. Can I get the volume down, please? Okay. So if you had, I can't remember if it was Twitch or YouTube, probably YouTube, my last cleaning stream. See, I was so proud to have this thing cleared off, and now everything's back. That's the way it goes. Been sitting around, sitting in a celebrity Sunday chat, just taking time away from doing important things. Let's see, did I show you my treasures? Getting ready, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. I don't know who's gonna get here first. Who has the map? Oh, HK. A little inside joke. Yeah. Oh, money. What are you talking about? I gave you art. Oh, there's no money in this card. Well, come find it. G.I. Joe's. What? Brought to you by State of Oregon. G.I. Joe's. Lure Henson and Sons. Oh, fishing in Oregon. The new Hennings guide. And is this reversed? Yeah. No. Oh, good. It's one of those types. I don't know. Must be two different settings. My other computer, wait, actually, it does do it's not a mirror screen. It's a window, right? Oh. See what one of the projects where is all right. One second, I have a second cell phone here. Oh, that's why I hear the audio. No, I don't want to use the battery up on that. Okay. So here's a Crane Prairie Reservoir. What if I get Google Maps and do an overhead aerial of it? Well, it's funny. A lot of people like to buy lakefront property and sideline to exclude drag control. Oh, that's a fishing line. Copyright 1984 Flying Pencil Publications. 1984 Maps Index 8485 Regulations. The Complete Oregon Fishing Guide. How can we monetize that? What else did I get? See, I accumulate just. Oh, the history of art. I had a textbook at one point. One of those real expensive $200 types, if I remember. H.W. Jansen, History of Art, has been a milestone for ocean history. Now Professor Jansen and Samuel Common have reorganized the volume, provided. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you don't. That used book isn't last year's book. It's if you have to cite page numbers. Oh boy, one little change in a textbook like this, and those page numbers that the other class cited. Saint Mark from the Gospel Book of Archbishop Ebbo of Reims, AD 816 to 835. Huh. Okay, got history of art. I have another one out from. I took an online course from Coastline College. Is it Coastline Community? Anyway, I got an associate's. I had a bachelor's, but bachelor's was in non-engineering field, so I went and got an associate's. So we got Know Your Money, a very interesting United States Secret Service. How to guard against forged government checks. Hmm. Forged government checks. The green goods swindle. Every year, people lose thousands of dollars to swindlers. It has been estimated that there are more than 800 crooked schemes designed to trick you out of substantial amounts of money. One of these schemes is known as the green goods game. Although clever crooks have used it for many years, it is still one of the most effective frauds used by modern confidence men. The green goods swindler usually carries equipment which he claims can duplicate genuine currency. This equipment generally consists of a fancy wooden or metal box studded with dials and knobs and little electric lights, all intended to impress and to mystify the victim. In practice, the swindler singles out a person known to have money. Money, depending upon the swindler's field of operation, means anything from $5 to $50,000. He proceeds to convince the victim that the mysterious machine is capable of transferring the impression from a good bill to a blank piece of white paper the same size. The victim is told that this transfer is made possible by the use of electricity and a secret chemical which is very rare, but available to the swindler. The swindler demonstrates. He puts a genuine $10, $20 bill in a small compartment of the machine, along with a blank piece of white paper. He closes the door to the compartment so the victim cannot see the top secret process. He flips the switch and turns the dial. Lights flash and buzzers buzz. In a few moments, he opens the compartment door, and there, before the wide eyes of the victim, are two bills. The white paper has disappeared. The victim is permitted to take the two bills to a bank if he wishes. If he does, they will be exchanged for other money because they are both genuine. He is convinced. He either buys the machine for a fabulous sum or delivers to the swindler a large quantity of bills of small denomination to be duplicated. The swindler has told him that the machine will make only one duplicate of one bill. The secret is simple. Before the demonstration, unbeknownst to the victim, the swindler has secreted two good bills in a hidden section of the compartment in the box. By turning the dials on the machine, he slides the hidden compartment into the place formerly occupied by the one bill and the piece of white paper. The one bill and the white paper are merely out of sight. They have been replaced by two genuine bills, and another swindle is on its way to completion. It's against the law. Reader's Digest. A South Carolina state law forbids people to crawl around in the public sewers without a written permit from the quote, proper authorities. In Medford, Oregon, it is against law to leave a cellar door open. The Colorado law forbids the serving of food in a room used for any other purpose. And it has little undertakers are prohibited from giving away books of matches in Shreveport, Louisiana. Oh, obscure little laws and little cartoon pics. So that's one bad. Little, I just got something else in here. Oh, it's an illustrated The Pilgrim's Progress. John Bunyan, uh, Pilgrim's Progress in comic book form. Oh, huh. Pilgrim's Progress published by Marvel Comics. Copyright 1992, Marvel Entertainment Group Incorporated. All rights from no presently printed or produced in any manner without the written permission of the publisher. Okay. Popcorn. Money. Uh, Bowlers Workshop Trophies and Awards. Citrus Heights. Yeah, I checked the Google Maps. This places and I don't think it even exists anymore. Well, I mean, like the location. I think it was developments. But look, what year? What year's a penny? 1996. I got Pinocchio, retold by Freya Little Ale from the original version by C. Collodi. Let's see, what year is this? 1979. Trains Today, The Little Wonder Book. Oh, Trains Today. John Johnson Maria Ellen. Trains Today, Wonder Book. Is that Wilson? Can't read that one handwriting. See, that's one of my weird curiosities when I get these old books is the people who wrote had them before when they like leave little clues and everything. I see some trains. Western Collector, Volume 5, Number 3, March 1960, 1967. The West Only magazine for collectors, 50 cents. This issue, Mexicana, Easter plaques, books, glass, bottle world. Mexicana. Seawell Sacramento Antiques Show and Sale. Friday, March 31, Saturday, April 1, Sunday, April 2. Ooh, at Antiques. I wonder how many people show up for that. We have Comic Cons now. Collectors Co-op, National Association of Dealers. Uncle Joshua, who specialized in the making of tin candle sconces and the long-handled, old-fashioned tin dippers, was also the flower man of his community. As a young boy, I remember him surrounded with dipping dyes, what he called a temp stick, and of course his trade, squares, ball hammer, and squat anvil. Each spring, when he removed his stovepipe from his place in the west wall of his tin shop, he would immediately substitute a canister filled with flowers. This is not a story about tinsmithing, as nostalgic as it could be. It's an explanation of the handsome Easter plaques, which were also used to cover the hole in any wall, but usually the one in the front room, where the stovepipe was removed come Easter. Taking down the sooty stovepipe was an annual chore. Substituting a tin canister of flowers was a good idea, but because not everyone was a tinsmith, some bought Bing and Grundal's Easter plaques to place over the unsightly hole. The custom originated in Scandinavia, where almost everyone had a winter stove, sometimes several, with a long stovepipe. So the alert and foresighted Bing and Grandal, makers of those beautiful blue and white porcelains of artistic Danish holiday interpretations, also crafted Easter plaques for stovepipe holes. No longer are these biscuit baked, durable, and professionally artistic Easter plaques made. In their day, they were mighty popular with homemakers, and now they are even more popular with collectors who are discovering both their beauty and their scarcity. Oh, huh, okay. The unexplained, the unexpected collectibles at Mexico. The main entrance to the Museum of Anthropology in Mexico City. Every would-be tourist is given advice on what to do and what to avoid doing when he contemplates that first journey to a foreign shore, and we're no exception. And we were no exception as we planned our first trip to Mexico. I'm happy to say we did not heed all of the well-meaning advice, but struck out on our own, and though we may have made a mistake or two along the way, we had the pleasure of making discoveries for ourselves that others may never experience. First of all, we skipped the temptation to lounge on the beaches of Acapulco and instead rented a jeep and drove north and south into the jungles that surrounded this Riviera of the West. Here we saw the small native villages that come as a surprise around each bend in the road, a road cut between palm trees and stretching for 100 miles against the backdrop now of mountains, now sea. A block or two further down the street, we found the shop of Mrs. Ada Haydenberg. She too is from Germany and has made her home in Mexico for the past 18 years. Everything in Mrs. Haydenberg's shop is European and has been purchased either on buying trips or from private estates in Mexico. She specializes in English and French furniture and objects of art, and the prices were found to be as high as, if not higher than those in similar shops in the United States. The reason for this came as a rather shock to us. That Mrs. Heidenberg brings back objects from a buying trip to Europe, a duty of 150% is imposed by the Mexican government. With such a high duty, it is not difficult to understand what happens to resale prices. Note the marvelous Mason vase. Mason, Mason, Meisson, a Mason vase, pictured representing the three races of man. Okay, I'm looking at a picture here. Uh, yeah, I don't see it. Okay, I'm getting carried away with that. I want to get this floor cleared off again. Ooh, I got a little chart of Spanish nouns or objects. 1955, El hombro. The shoulder is el hombro. Might have to go. I was trying to take a day off of drinking, or at least going out and spending money. I might have to go down to the cantina and ask the staff there about this. Ooh, calculator's cunning. Menninger. Menninger. Calculator's cunning. The art of quick reckoning. Carl Menninger. Translated from the 10th revised German edition by E.J.F. Primrose. Or by Martin Gardner. First published in the German language by Badenhorst and Ruprecht Göttingen under the title Rockineffe Reckoner Lustiges und Vorteilhaftes Rechnen. Both devoted to you, Vorteilhaftes. Vorteilhaftes. Yeah, name and proof of the test. Okay. Anyway, this is a different way of calculating. Anyway, just being mental, being able to do math without a computer. Amazing. Ooh. 1947, Proud Destiny. Frick Furtwängler, The Viking Press. Proud Destiny, a novel. New York, 1947. To Marta. Part 1, Chapter 1, Ville Marquez. Chapter 2, Franklin. Chapter 3, Louis Antoinette. Chapter 4, Joseph. Part 2, The Alliance. Oh, that was Part 1, Arms for America. Part 2, The Alliance. Chapter 1, The Long Waiting. Chapter 2, The Meeting. Chapter 3, Battle 1. Chapter 4, Signed and Sealed. Part 3, The Recompense. Chapter 1, Voltaire. Chapter 2, The Veto. Chapter 3, Figaro. Chapter 4, Ka Ira. Here begins the novel Proud Destiny, also called Arms for America. It is a story of the wit and folly, the crafty stupidity, and the over-dimensionalized corruption of a decaying society. You will find in it charming ladies, and brilliant, vain men, intellect combined with an empty heart, and full hearts combined with a maladroit hand. A great man amid a world of fops. The theatre and politics, enmity and friendship, lasciviousness and coquetry, love and business. Coquetry. Isn't that like another word for like old time word for like hooking? In the internal sameness and internal flux. You will also find in this book men who believe in the possibility of continually learning more about the laws of human evolution, and in the possibility of adapting ourselves to these laws so that we may establish a world that shall be more and more enlightened by the Spirit. The story tells further of the struggle of men, of words, and of ideas revolving around an economic upheaval, nor does it forget to tell of the blindness of men when faced with the march of history, or of the indissoluble association in which all are linked, yet which few are prepared to recognize, or of faith in the very slow, yet certain growth of human reason between the ice age that has passed and the one that is to come. The ice age to come? We kind of haven't warmed for this type of season. The road from Versailles to Paris led through a green and pleasant countryside. This is chapter 1 in Beaumarchais. Beaumarchais. Now let's use mnemonics. Let's use Kevin Trudeau's mega memory exercises. I have some other books on memory, but I got those after I got that. My uncle gave me that course. Uh, Beau Marches. Beaumarchais. Okay, I don't know what that means. Is that an English place? Beaumarchais. Beau. Beau? Beau? Beaumarch? Beaumarchais? It had been raining it had been raining during the morning, but now the clouds had scattered. The sun was shining through, and Pierre enjoyed the damp freshness of a beautiful afternoon in May. Only 24 hours before, on his return from London, he had been beset by doubts lest the recent changes in the cabinet should erect for good the ingenious enterprise in which he had devoted so much thought and effort. It would have been by no means the first time that fate had played him a scurvy trick. Things, however, had taken an auspicious turn. In a frank and lengthy interview with the minister, it had become evident that Versailles, 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 Versailles was more than nibbling at his proposals. Count Vergennes had displayed a far deeper interest in his project than his cautious letter had given reason to suppose, and the pledges offered today by the government surpassed any hopes that he had dared to entertain. The great scheme was as good as launched. Pierre's carriage had reached the fork where the road turned off towards Clamart, and he told the coachman to slacken his pace. Leaning back on the cushions, with a slight smile on his lips, he mentally reviewed the steps by which his success hitherto had been achieved. Pierre de Caron de Beaumarchais had been living in London during the past few months as a secret agent of the French government. The tasks on which his adroit, quick-witted talents had been employed were hidden from the public eye, not overnight, and of no great importance. They had occupied but little of his time and afforded him leisure for the working out of weightier plans. Since the outbreak of the great struggle between King George III of England and his American colonies, Pierre Coron de Beaumarchais had ardently espoused the cause of the insurgent Americans. Like many other intellectuals in Paris and even in London, he had greeted the men of Boston, the rebels, as allies fighting to put into practice the tremendous ideas of the French and English philosophers. Okay. Ooh, big bunch of comics that I was took to the well, just the dying fan base. Just checking for chat. All right. Yeah, when you come over, when somebody comes over here, yeah, just golly, golly, Josh, darn, golly, good time. Just darn, golly, good time. Little British American Language Dictionary. Plebe. This is American. These are American words. American words. They're English. Sometimes we have our own little definitions. A plebe, noun. First year cadet at a military academy. Hunter is a plebe. Sorry, we had a young man named Hunter join the army from our neighborhood church. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's one I don't know. Pemmican, noun. A concentrated mixture of dried lean meat and fat. An American Indian word, and originally an American Indian food. Hmm. I wonder if I've had it. Do we still eat that? Do we just call it other type, like shredded meat or something? 2011, California's legislature, probably a must read for people who work there. Commission on Judicial Performance. In November 1960, the people approved a constitutional amendment authorizing the establishment of a commission on judicial performance with power to recommend to the Supreme Court to remove, censure, or retirement of any judge. In 1994, Proposition 190 was adopted by the voters. The law expanded the powers of the Commission and made a variety of procedural changes with regard to investigations into conduct of judges. And footnote 41, Constitution, Article 6, Section 8, Sections 8 and 18. The original name of the commission was the Commission on Judicial Qualifications. The name was changed to its current designation by constitutional amendment in 1976. Although the legislature still retains authority to impeach judges, it has not done so since 1929. Oh, the California State Legislature can impeach judges? Hmm. The member compensation of members. The members of the first legislature received $16 per diem and $16 mileage for every 20 miles traveled to and from the state capital, then located at San Jose. Constitution of 8, footnote 58, Constitution of 1849, Schedule, Section 15, Statutes, Statutes of 1850, Chapter 16. The Constitution of 1879 provided for per diems not to exceed $8, mileage not to exceed 10 cents per mile, and contingent expenses not to exceed $25 for each season. is the growth of their paychecks, how they're paid. Each member is allowed and reimbursed for living expenses per diem incurred while attending regular or extraordinary sessions of the legislature or attending committee meetings, legislative functions, or for legislative responsibilities as authorized by the respective Rules Committee. Under the Government Code, the California Victim Compensation and Government Claims Board, VCGCB, establishes the per diem rate for why is that under the Victims Compensation Board? Are they the victims or are we the victims? Huh, all right. Well, very cool little thing for policy wonks, government people. Little defunct bit of history. Somebody took it upon themselves to start printing out their own news, not satisfied with the newspaper. Uh, what I like about this is you know what, it was very scary because I went because I just sitting in court. It's open to the public. Yeah, that's one of the things that changed. People used to be able to go to court. I didn't. I didn't go into. Yeah, here the public can go and sit in their board, just watch what's going on at the court. They changed that in Sacramento. Up here, we still have the right. Oh, there's this young lady. I was like, I just, it might be of help to you someday. She's like, yeah, and she was at her drug. It was like her drug trial or like a follow up. You know, I'm not out there like embarrassing people. They're sitting there taking notes. And boy, oh boy, she's like, and the judge, like, I'm just according to your court observer. That's the words, right? Court observer. And yeah, this see, if you get arrested, that's still public. Yeah, I don't mind. Let's see, is Tedford in here? Tedford's usually in here. Oh, Quigley. H.G. Quigley, 37, listed as General Delivery Wairika, was arrested by Wairika Police Department on October 22, 2025 at 2:34 p.m. at Minor 3rd Street on charges of begging, soliciting alms, misdemeanor. He was soliciting alms? It's a crime? Man, it's a good thing I got my wagon. I was gonna go down the street like alms for the poor, alms for the poor. I just heard during the black plague, they would go up and down with like barrels. Bring out your dead. People would bring out your dead and throw them in the cart. Mm. Oh, Venezuela, MS Venezuela, 43 of Dunsmuir was arrested. Possession of unlawful paraphernalia, possession of controlled substance, manufacturing. Oh my goodness, I'm in. I should be in one from a couple weeks ago. I got a DUI on my bicycle. Yeah, you look me up in the lockup if you can find like piece together enough things from here and know where to look. I got a DUI on a bicycle. Yay! I finally made an arrest report. I'm finally on an arrest report. Although I did a background check on myself, and apparently I was arrested one of those public search things. So apparently I've been arrested other places, not to my knowledge. But my security clearance event, like, you lied about being arrested. It's right here. Dude, I've never been to Idaho. I mean, Idaho might be encroaching on our border, but I ain't never been to Idaho. How did I get arrested in Idaho? Could have been Iowa, but either one, I haven't been there. Oh boy. So, more treasures. Understanding human nature. A brilliant psychologist investigates the mechanics of the human brain and penetrates still deeper into the mysteries of the human mind. Alfred Adler explains the repressions and complexes that are in themselves the essence and foundation of human nature. Understand the world we live in. 3. Fantasy. Fantasy is but another creative faculty of the soul. Traces of this activity may be found in the various phenomena which we have already described, just as the projection of certain memories into the sharp focus of consciousness, or the erection of the bizarre superstructures of the imagination. Fantasy and daydreaming are to be considered part of the creative activity of the soul. The prevision and prejudgment, which are an essential faculty in any mobile organism, constitute an important factor in fantasy. Fantasy is bound up with the mobility of the human organism, and is indeed nothing more than a method of prevision and prescience. Prevision and prescience. The fantasies of children and grown-ups, sometimes called daydreams, are always concerned with the future. The castles in the air are the goal of their activity, built up in fictional form as models for real activity. Examinations of childhood fantasies show clearly that the striving for power plays the predominant role. Children deal with the goal of their ambition in their daydreams. Most of their fantasies begin with the words, "And I am grown up," and the like. There are many adults who live as though they still had to grow up. The clear emphasis on the striving for power indicates to us again that the soul life can develop only when a certain goal has been set. In our civilization, this goal is the goal of social recognition and significance. An individual never remains long at any neutral goal. What year is this? Oh, wow. Author's principal works. Organ inferiority and physical compensation. The neurotic constitution. The neurotic constitution. The practice and theory of individual psychology. Oh wait, the first one, organ inferiority and its physical compensation, 1907. The neurotic constitution, 1921. The practice and theory of individual psychology, 1924. The case of Miss R, 1928. Problems of neurosis, 1929. The case of Miss A. Miss R? The pattern of life, 1931. The case of Miss A, 1931. The pattern of life, 1931. The case of Miss R. Hey Ruby, you know if any of your any of your therapists ever written case reports about you? Atoms of the Bounty, 1958, a novel by Earl Wilson. The year was 1787. Bluff-bowed, squat in appearance, anything but a navy ship, the Bounty lay at Deptford in the London River, preparing for her voyage to the South Seas. Clumsy she might have been, but to John Adams she represented a kind of homecoming. He was back in the service again. Huh, 1787. You know, because the Revolutionary War was won in the 1770s, and there was a president before President Washington. I forget his name. It's called the Articles of the Confederacy. No, Articles of Confederation. And 2 years later, I think 1889 is when we had our first current government president. But if you look at the sovereign man thing I have, he says that we have three different governments. Uh, seeking a spot behind a huge tun near the foreladder way, where a patch of pale sunlight swung in the roll of the ship. Adams forgot his surroundings. Morrison had marked the page with a strand of oakum. The sailor opened the book and found the painstaking journalist's description of the breadfruit. When the fruit is ripe, it is yellow and soft, and the taste is sweet and pleasant. The natives of Guam use it for bread. They gather it when full grown, while it is green and hard. Then they bake it in an oven which scorcheth the rind and maketh it black. But they scrape off the outside black crust, and there remains a tender, thin crust, and inside is soft, tender, and white, like the crumb of a penny loaf. Oh, that word's actually in the book. Yeah, I was about to close, and my eyes are like, it's Italianized, where it's like, his spirits were low, and he was in critical mood. By God, in this place Guam were better off than English seamen. Then yes, that's what they say. So like the low class, there's some guys who just need to feel superior to somebody. Forest, like this way, a published by Firework Press, New York City. First published 1903. First published. Firework Press published the greatest books of American history ever written, including seminal works written by our nation's most. Yeah, I mean it's public domain. They can. Interesting. Yeah, it's public domain work, I suppose. What is this? It's one of the greatest works. The Lunge. Do you know the chosen water where the Aonantik is waiting? Dick and I traveled in a 15-foot wooden canoe with grub, duffel tent, and a deuce, the black and white setter dog. As a consequence, we were pretty well down toward the water line. We had not realized that a wooden canoe would carry so little weight for its length in comparison with a birch bark. A good heavy sea we could ride with proper management and a little bailing, but sloppy waves kept us busy. Deuce did not like it at all. He was a dog old in the wisdom of experience. It had taken him just 20 minutes to learn all about canoes. After a single tentative trial, he jumped lightly to the very center of his place, and with lithe caution of a cat. Then, if the water happened to be smooth, he would sit gravely on his haunches and would rest his chin on the gunwale to contemplate the passing landscape. But in rough weather he crouched directly over the keel, his nose between his paws, and tried not to dodge when the cold water dashed in on him. Deuce was a true woodsman in that respect. This comfort he always bore with equanimity, and he must often have been very cold and very cramped. Yeah. I suppose having a pile of books is better than having like three random bags lying around. Ooh, I've had this one for a while. This is one of those. It is one of those. What do you call historical fiction? It's like Man in the High Castle. Most of you probably don't know what that is. So it got turned into a show. Well, it's imagining what ifs of history. What if, what if, what if no one found out about Watergate? What if Dick Nixon never resigned? This was on Ernest J. DeSalmo. Oh, Ernest, it looks like Ernest J. DeStefano, March 1983. Stefano. Of Stefano. Ruby and Ashley. Hey, hey Ruby, how do you know Ashley? Robert Place with Colin. Oh my goodness, what is this? That's some more art. What is the name? I have that written down on the. Oh, here it is. Oh, Stefano. No, I'm just kidding. Some chick named Stephanie. I'm for Senator Doolittle. The do nothings. Do little, do nothings. Maybe some of the musicians might appreciate this in the Carter Family album of Smoky Mountain Ballads. Apparently they're like really famous. Like music royalty or something. Sweet Fern by A.P. Carter. Springtime is coming, sweet oh. Springtime is how fast is it supposed to be? False moderato. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not very familiar with how to read these things. Springtime is coming. Springtime is coming, sweet, sweet lonesome bird. Your song in the woodland I hear. In the meadow, so lonesome you're singing well. Moonlight is shining so clear. I know he's away in a far distant land, a land that is over the sea. Go fly to him, go fly to him, singing your sweet, singing your sweet little song, and tell him to come back to me. Sweet bird, sweet bird, oh tell me is my darling still true? Sweet bird, I'll be just as happy as you. And I don't know if you ever heard of this gamer. They used to have a custom of African families just basically dumping their kids on an English family to give them opportunities
to get a better life, but since they weren't paying or giving the people any money, they were kind of at the mercy of whatever family they gave their kid to, and sometimes they got placed with a good family, and then sometimes they're like less for one. So there's a famous actor who's actually on that show, Oz. This movie's actually based on his life. Where he was living in a
What you talking about, Willis?
neighborhood that was run by neo-Nazi gangs.
What you talking about, Willis? Oh wait. Hey, what you talking about, Gary?
And he was darker than me. And under awkward circumstances, it's possible. I don't think. I don't think Armani's a white supremacist.
In an okay songbook of aficionados, good morning music calls and direct old-time dancing as revived by Mr. and Mrs. Henry Ford. Napa music. Wow, so this is
Can we admit that
published in
the
1941.
conversation on whether the black guy be a Nazi or not is funny as shit? It's so, come on, let's just enjoy it. It's so fucking funny. Let's find humor in racism and kill it. Let's go. Let's find humor in it.
Okay, this one.
There's definitely humor in it. And it's funny, that does exist.
Because I have one printed later. Maybe that's the published one. They put the words underneath the music notes. Head couple lead to the right, or join hands and circle half round. Right and left stick to execute the above two calls. Couple leads to right, joins hands with the couple, circles half round, facing hands in right. Half stick leads to couple directly in line. This is a straight right. It's okay. Like we call it square dancing. Like when I get the choreograph, but kind of like with some audibles. Head couple leads to the right, four joint hands and circle half round. Right and left six. Lead to the next couple. Circle four hands round. Lead to the next couple. Circle half around. Right and left the six. All bounce partners in swing. Yeah, I only know that one like tune.
Armani will never ever come back. I really don't think that he will.
Yeah, this is what I'm dealing with. Again, I think those are lyrics. I could be completely wrong about. Let me check out the next volume. Okay, yeah. See this one I was looking at. See, this one has the words with the music and stuff.
Behind the scenes smear campaigns and like, or tell someone if they think
The head lady swinging the right hand gently. With a right hand round, with a right hand round swing, partner with the left, with the left hand round, couple swing in center, six hands round, all join hands and circle to the left, 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 all join hands and circle to the left, and then we swing our partners, then we swing our partners all. The head lady swing the right hand jet with the right hand round with the right hand round, and they have put the head lady swings a gentleman on the right twice around. Swing partner with the left hand round, swings partner twice around. Couple swinging in the center, six hands round. The head couple swings in the center while the dancers join hands and circle around them. All are singing. Next lady on the right swings gentleman, continuing until each couple has completed movement. Irish washerwoman. All forward, gents to the right of the ring. And when you get there, you balance and swing. When you get through, remember the call. All amende left and promenade. All four gents to the right of the ring. When you get there, you balance and swing. When you get through, remember the call. You amende left and promenade. All.
That's fine. I'm generally the most inflexible person ever. Anyone else successfully gotten split? How long did it take you? Like, what if I like really think questions, pretend like this is like oh, guys, I'm totally not posting this for attention, for male attention. My ass squatting on the carpet and she's posting herself doing splits in her skincare hair. I don't even know if Alex. Exactly. You can make it over there. I got plenty of villains in the plotline, buddy. You don't have to. You never have to. You just one fucking thing. This is constantly about the
You talking to Mars?
everywhere all the time. And I see this
And stuff I've already had. The Little Red Book. Aren't you envious, Central Committee? They have the mind of Governor Moonbeam. I don't believe in the cult of personality. Having my portrait hung all over the place like Ronald Reagan or Mao Zedong. It's like the wit and the wisdom, yes, they have this administration and this administration is the tradition of Thomas Jefferson said, "He who governs best governs the least." Don't make me come down there, kids. I don't have any goals. They will evolve as we go along. Governor's Mansion, the Taj Mahal. When I look at the choices between living in the new mansion or living across the street in a state-owned apartment, we find a dramatic difference that living in the apartment costs $22,000 a year. Living in the new mansion will cost $391,000 a year for a grand total of $1,476,000, which will save enough money to build a new mansion if the next governor would care to have two of them instead of just the one we have now. Nobody in their right mind wants to live in that Taj Mahal. I have never lived any different than I live today, so I don't see why I should change. If I thought it would make the world better, I might do it. But I think it just adds to the hypocrisy and distance between the presentation of government and government performance. If you're a heavyweight champion of the world, I think a limousine might be appropriate, or some other obvious feat of excellence. But just to muddle around in government, I think a rather modest car is the most appropriate vehicle. On refusing gifts, official note used when returning gifts to senders. A government job is an occasion for public service, not special privilege. The undivided loyalty to public interest required of the governorship makes it inappropriate to keep the profusion of gifts that arrive every day at this office. On his bed, a mattress on the floor. I don't know how you describe it, but the mattress is on a box. The box is on the floor. I am not much of a furniture analysis, but it's appropriate. It's appropriate for the need. I'll tell you that. I get enough sleep at night. Prisons. Prisons don't rehabilitate. They don't punish. They don't protect. So what the hell did they do? There is a feeling that prison is such a horrible place that people shouldn't be sent there. There is also a $4,000 probation subsidy so that counties can actually receive payment by the state for not sending people to prison. And there is a general feeling in society that finds it very difficult to accept the concept of punishment for criminal activity. It's been a philosophy that an expert group of people called psychologists and psychometrics and psychiatrists and various other sort of people were able to take a person and figure out what's in his head and then tell when he's ready to be released. Now that philosophy is coming under serious question, and as a substitute, mandatory certain sentences, no matter what is in his head, then we don't have to spend a lot of money on group gab sessions where you talk about what your mother did or didn't do to you. And I think that's a lot of what goes on in some of these places. And I personally sat on a few. Very interesting, but I'm not sure what it produces. If you get some jobs in there where people do things like they did a few years ago, San Quentin, and provide some prison industries where people work and do something productive, that was worthwhile. I think that was a better way to go. I find it rather ironic you put somebody in a cell 18 hours a day doing nothing but watching television and seeing all the violence, and then you expect them to come out and be a productive member of society with no prospect of a job. It is an absurd system. Education or macrame. I question whether we can afford to teach mother macrame when Johnny still can't read. Johnny still can't read? Oh look, see, I didn't. I only spent one night in the cell recently. Oh my goodness. Oh Corey. Yeah, this one I just got finished with, like book reviews. That Corey Wallace was very interesting. Very interesting, Brian. kid sentenced to die because Brian brought a gun. Oh, Cody, what have you done? Like, Brian's got a gun. His cat and knife's just unspun. I don't want to. No, I'm not stealing somebody else's music. That's the original song. Well, Cody read a lot of books, and because I spend more time sitting here contemplating when I'm going to go start drinking and what and how much I'm going to throw up tonight. Yeah, no chatters. Complete failure as a live streamer. Actually, no viewers. Well, maybe I got a viewer or two pop in. Then again, why would you? Like, what's wrong with you? You're sitting there watching me babble and ramble. What's wrong with you? Ooh. Chet Roscoe is finally feeling at home at Hell Mills. This is the Sharks in the River. July 12th, 1916, Hell Mills, New Jersey, in the Matawan Creek. A feeling of terror came over 10-year-old Chet Roscoe. A deep chill down in his bones. He had been swimming in the Matawan Creek by himself. He had the idea that something was watching him. And then he saw it. A large gray fin slicing through the water like a knife. What was that? Could it really be a shark? That was impossible. Elm Hills is miles and miles from the ocean. How could a shark find its way into this little creek? There was no way. But now Chet could see it, coming toward him. The gigantic shark, bigger than Chet himself. The black eyes staring up through the water. Killer eyes. Chet dove toward the shore, pounding through the water, kicking with all his might. His feet touched the bottom. He was running now, looking over his shoulder. The shark was right behind him, its huge jaws wide open, its white dagger teeth gleaming in its blood-red mouth. Huh. Oh. I Survived a Shark Attack of 1916 by Lauren Tarshis, illustrated by Scott Dawson. I don't know if I've only been streaming for an hour. I thought it was like 2. Good for you, 0 drop frames. Oh well. Anyway. I'm not gonna play. I'm gonna start rapping, so we're not gonna play an hour-long interview. Okay? Most of the people are attending this saw that, and I encourage anyone to go watch it. Yeah, I already said it twice, but I'm not going to again. Yeah, everyone really did. It's like a while ago. Salute. Yeah,